Hello and a warm welcome from the headquarters of Einböck. In these challenging times, we are pleased to present our product range to you in this virtual way. Here we are in our showroom where you have a nice overview of all our products. Unfortunately, we are not able to welcome any guests in our showroom, which would be the best way to introduce you directly to our products. So we decided to try this virtual way to bring the world of Einböck closer to you. Because of technical reasons, we have recorded the online training a few days before. I would like to inform you already about our further online trainings, which will be in the next weeks. Further information you will find on our homepage. Today I will give you an overview about what's important in the organic way of farming, and of course I will show you our latest technology and the correct use of them. After this introduction, we're gonna start with the presentation, effective and successful with tinedweeder and row crop cultivators. In the general part, I will give you a briefly overview about our company and myself. Afterwards, I will show you all the basics, the main benefit of the mechanical weed control, and all requirements and the challenges which a farmer has to face without the use of herbicides. Then I'll show you our latest technology regarding tinedweeders and row crop cultivators and the correct use of them. The company Einböck is a family-owned business and is being run in the third generation, and the fourth generation is also already active in the company. We are located in Austria, in Dorf an der Bram, and all the development, the construction, the production, everything is done here in Austria. Actually, we have approx 200 employees which produce every year more than 3,500 agricultural machines. You can buy our machines nearly all over the world. In the most countries we have importers who support our customers locally. In US and France we have daughter companies who take care about the sales. More details regarding our company and where you can buy our machines you will find on our homepage. Our wide product range is divided into 4 groups. Our biggest and most important product groups are our machines for the crop care. And I'm proud to say we are the leading full-range supplier worldwide for tinedweeders and row crop cultivators. Tillage machines have been produced by the company Einböck for more than 70 years, and only with the correct stubble cultivation and the perfect seedbed preparation is a reduced or even a no use of herbicides even possible. Einböck is also well known worldwide for our special tinedweeders for grassland. This product group, grassland care, has been developed from the tinedweeder technology. Last but not least, the product group seeding and fertilizing. We build small seeding boxes for seeding, for example, cover crops, but we also produce big front tanks for seeding and fertilizing. Now we come to the future of Einböck, called fusion farming. We have gained a lot of experience in the organic way of farming in the last few decades. And we see currently the worldwide tendency for conventional farmers who want to reduce the use of herbicides. Therefore is our objective to combine the organic and the conventional agriculture. We try to fusion best practices of both ways of farming and call this fusion farming. For example, we are offering since this autumn special band sprayers in combination with row crop cultivators to reduce herbicides. We think the actual reasons for the tendency of a reduced use of chemical crop protections are following: political and social reasons. The demand for healthy food with less use of chemicals is increasing. Agronomic reasons. The climate change affects us all, and we feel the consequences every year. Healthy crops can compensate high temperatures or droughts easier than conventional crops. The economic reasons. The main goal to be as effective as possible in food production. For example, the costs of herbicides can be reduced if weed control is done mechanically. That's me. My name is Thomas Berrer. I'm working for the company Einböck already since 2015. I started in the product management and I switched to sales after 2 years. And I'm now responsible for the complete North American market. My big hobby after work is my farm at home, which I run together with my parents. Our farm is organic since 2017 and we have 20 hectares of farming land and approx 10,000 fattening chickens. Now we switch to the basics of the mechanical weed control. The use of a tinedweeder or a row crop cultivator has a major advantage to the soil, to the crop and also to the environment. At these three important points we will take now a closer look. A healthy soil is the basis for a healthy and a strong crop. The soil structure should be constantly improved and the soil life should be promoted. This is mainly done by feeding the soil life with organic material like manure or straw. Crusty soil caused by heavy rainfalls should be broken up, because only then our soil can breathe again and water from further rainfalls can go into the ground. Here we have two pictures where we see quite good what's going on in the soil if we break up the crust. We see here the crust is broken up. Please take a look at the leaves of the corn, and here there's still the heavy soil crust there, and you see how it harms the crop. With the mechanical weed control we reach following benefits to the crop. Through the reduction or the no use of herbicides we support the plant growth, because every application of chemicals harms also the crop. On the other hand, every mechanical damage, for example with a tinedweeder, has a positive effect regarding tillering of the crop. Furthermore, every mechanical weed control pass has a positive effect to the nitrogen mineralization. Because if the soil crust is broken up, the soil can breathe again, and this supports also our microorganisms in the soil to mobilize nitrogen. And that we see here really good. So what's going on with the crop after 1 week of breaking up the soil crust we see here, and the big difference you see here after 2 weeks. On the one side the corn is yellow, and on the other side where the soil crust is broken up, there the plant is really nice and green. The benefit for the environment, that's quite easy to explain. With the reduction in usage of herbicides, less water will be contaminated and therefore the biodiversity will be promoted. At the end, we will produce healthy food for our customers. A proper tillage is an important requirement for the mechanical weed control. In general, the cultivation of the soil depends on the local conditions, like which kind of soil I have, the climate conditions, but also which kind of crop is following. With the tillage after the crop has been harvested, it's possible to reduce weeds and to control how much crop residues are left on the surface. This is especially important because as more residues are left on the surface, the more challenging the use of tinedweeder and row crop cultivator is. A perfect seedbed preparation is necessary. The fields should be prepared flat and no big chunks should be left on the surface. Only at such conditions the tinedweeders can work perfectly. Finally, we come to the challenges of the mechanical weed control. In general, we can say as smaller the weeds are, as easier it is to remove them mechanically. We see here on the left picture the weeds in the germination stage, and that's the perfect and most effective time to use a tinedweeder. At this stage, it's quite easy to cover them with soil or to tear them out so that they dry out on the surface. Working with the row crop cultivator requires to work as accurate and as close as possible to the plant row without damaging of the crop. Then we can remove nearly all the weeds. You see here at the right picture we leave an unworked band of just 7 centimeters that are approx 2.7 inch. But this really requires an accurate seeding technology and also an accurate row crop cultivator. With this chart I want to show you the principles of the mechanical weed control. Here you see all the different crop stages, and in general we can say every mechanical weed control has, besides its advantage, the disadvantage that further weed seeds are stimulated to germinate. Nevertheless, the blind weeding pass stimulates again weed seeds to germinate, what we see at the drawing here. Then I have to use the tinedweeder or already a row crop cultivator again till my crop is canopying. Now I'm gonna show you all the basics of our tinedweeder. The tinedweeder is working in general over the complete surface and is breaking up the crust of the soil very efficiently. To use the tinedweeder and to reach a good working result, the soil should be dry and it should be a sunny day. Only then the crop is flexible enough and the weeds easier dry out on the surface. At the two pictures here, we see really good different working results if we change the speed. On the left picture, we are driving just 5 km per hour, and on the right picture, we are driving 9 km per hour, and you see we are moving much more soil at 9 km per hour. Also important is the perfect ground following, especially in uneven fields. Therefore, we offer for our tinedweeder hydraulic tine sections, where each tine section is 1.5 meter wide, can follow the ground individually. In general, we have two options to use our tinedweeder, pre-emerge or post-emerge. For the pre-emerge, tine weeding pass, also called blind weeding, is 100% correct seeding depth necessary. I always say minimum 3 centimeters that are a little bit more than 1 inch. Because with our tinedweeder we just want to work on the surface and we don't want to move or tear any crop seeds out from the ground. The post-emerge tine weeding pass, that means to use the tinedweeder when the crop has already emerged. At this working step is a careful adjustment of the time pressure and the working speed necessary. The tinedweeder should be adjusted as aggressive as possible to the weeds and as gently as possible to the main crop. In general, the time pressure can be adjusted by the height of the frame through the support wheels and through the angle of the tines. I always suggest that the tines should work a little bit tip forward, like you see at the picture. Then we reach the best weeding result and we are less aggressive to the main crop. Einböck is offering a tinedweeder with a direct spring-loaded tine. The big benefit of this system is the stable machines requires nearly no maintenance. The tinedweeder can be adjusted from working really gently if the crop is still small, like we see in the movie now, up to really aggressive if the soil is really crusty. Our tines can swivel from the left to the right side and breaks up the soil crust much better because of the rotating movement. With this system we can guarantee to remove nearly all the weeds. Now we come to our rotative weeder, also called Aerostar rotation. This machine is working like our tinedweeder, but it's specially designed for working really aggressive at heavy, crusty soil. The tines are casted into a plastic disc which turns itself. Through the rotation of the tool, it will not plug up if many residues are left on the surface. The angular position of the rotation tools ensures a work over the complete surface. To reach the same working result like a tinedweeder, the working speed must be reduced a little bit, because the rotative weeder works in general much more aggressive. Here you see also our hydraulic tine adjustment. With this option we can adjust the tines from working really gently to the crop up to really aggressive. Our rotary hoe is also called Aerostar, is a combination of a rotative weeder and a row crop cultivator. Rigid tines are mounted on discs which are running in driving direction. The rotary star is an effective tool for breaking up the crust of the soil in combination with a really high speed, so there we can start from 12 up to 25 km per hour. The machine can be used even in very small crops and can be used at every row distance. The only disadvantage, the weed control effect is quite low and just possible at really small weeds. Now I show you our row crop cultivators. It's the most challenging product for our production, but also for our sales team. We offer a lot of different options and technologies depending on the soil conditions and for which crops the jobs that should be used. Therefore, nearly every row crop cultivator looks different. The most important point of the row crop cultivator is we need the same amount of rows like the seeder, even if the customer has a GPS steered tractor. The row spacing of the seeders must be 100% correct. For example, in corn, exactly 75 centimeters, or for the North American market, 30 inch. If the seeder is not adjusted correct, the row crop cultivator cannot be adjusted to work as close as necessary to the plant row. For working in small crops, we typically use crop deflector plates or discs to protect the plant row. For working at large crops, I always suggest hilling elements or hilling sweeps to move a lot of soil to the plant row. Makes especially sense in corn for the last pass, then we can cover all the weeds which are growing underneath the plant row. To work as shallow as possible is getting more and more important. The springs and the summers are getting hotter and drier, therefore we want to keep the moisture in the ground. Especially for this reason, we developed an ultra-flat sweep, which you can see in working position on the right picture. With this new sweep, we keep the moisture in the ground. As you maybe know, we produce a lot of different types of row crop cultivators. The most common type is the Tine row crop cultivator, called Aerostar. This machine can be equipped with S-tines and vibrotines in combination with duckfoot sweeps. The sweeps break up the soil crust efficiently and remove all the weeds between the rows. Depending on the row distance, different sections are mounted. Here you see, for example, our smallest section with just one tine mounted per parallelogram, for example for 25 centimeters or 10 inch. The next bigger section for a row distance, for example 50 centimeters or 20 inch, there we have already mounted 3 tines per parallelogram. The standard corn section is typically equipped with 5 tines per section and is typically used for 75 centimeters or 30 inch. Here we see a 12-row row crop cultivator, our Aerostar, with a double fold frame, which is working in the last pass in corn to move a lot of soil to the plant row to cover all the small weeds which are growing underneath them. At this stage of the crop, it's not necessary to use the finger weeders anymore. Maybe you see it, we have lifted them already, and the main goal is really just to move soil to the plant row. And now I will show you these parallelograms in reality in our showroom. Now we are in our showroom again, and I'm gonna show you now all the parallelograms and tine sections what I have already showed you in our presentation. Here we are in front of our parallelogram. For every row spacing we use always the same parallelogram, and the big benefit about it is that on every parallelogram is mounted a spring to guarantee that the sweeps go always into the ground, also if the soil is really crusty. And on the other side there's also one little spring mounted which helps me to lift up the parallelogram. If I lock the spring in this position, I can use both hands to lift up my parallelogram, and then it locks automatically. So I don't need a pin or something else. It locks automatically, and that's also working the other way. If I lock my spring on the other position again, and I can use also both hands again, I just lift it up a little bit and then it goes back to the ground. Here we are in front of our tine sections for grain, typically used for 10-inch row spacing for 25 centimeters. We see here we have our standard parallelogram mounted here, and the depth control is done always by our FarmFlex wheel. I can easily adjust the working depth of my sweep by just changing the height of the wheel. Here we have mounted our standard vibrotine, which guarantees a really shallow working depth. And at the rear we have additionally mounted here our tinedweeder for grain, where we have 2 tines at the rear which bring the weeds back to the surface to dry out. Here we are in front of our section for 20-inch row spacing for 50 centimeters. We see here the Jobster section is equipped standard with 3 river tines. Here you see our HD river tines. The benefit of them is we can work really shallow with them compared to the S tines. The machine can be equipped with crop deflector discs like you see them here. The benefit of this system is with the crop deflector discs the machine will never plug up, and if I don't want to use them I can easily lift them up. They lock automatically and then they are in lifted position. If I want to use them again I just have to lift them a little bit and then they go back to the ground. On the other side we have our crop deflector plates to cover the whole width from the front to the rear of the tines. The height of the crop deflector plate can be adjusted easily by just loosening one bolt, and then I can change the height depending if I want to move a lot of soil or just less soil to the plant row. Here we are in front of our standard corn section, typically used for 30-inch, 75 centimeters row spacing. Typically the machine is equipped with S tines, what you see here, and standard is at the rear our additional spring, because the last tine we have the option to mount it a little bit deeper. We see here our protection elements. Here for example we have the crop deflector plate. We can change how close the crop deflector plate is mounted to the rows, is mounted to the sweeps. That's quite easy to change. On the other side we see our crop deflector disc, which I typically suggest if a lot of organic material is left on the surface, because this system will never plug up. And it's quite easy to remove. If we don't want to use it, we just lift it up, it locks automatically and it's lifted. To put it back on the ground, we have just to lift it again and then it falls down to the ground again. Now we are back at the presentation. Now I'm going to show you the biggest section for our Tine row crop cultivator. The biggest row spacing what we can offer is up to 150 centimeters, that are approx 60 inch. And you see here we have already 2 parallelograms together with 10 tines. Nevertheless, these are just examples. With our modular system we can offer sections for any row distance starting from 19 centimeters, that are approx 7.5 inches. Here you see our Star row crop cultivator, also called Aerostar. In general, this version can be used for a really aggressive hoeing pass and grass breaking without clutching, if a lot of residues are left on the surface. The section is equipped with S-tines in the front for loosening the soil, and afterwards are stars mounted which reduce the weeds between the rows and move as much soil as possible to the plant row. The first option what we are offering you see at the left drawing. 4 stars are mounted per section and is typically used for potato or carrot dams to move soil to the dam. The second option you see at the right drawing. 8 stars are mounted per section and is typically used in corn at row spacing 75 centimeters or 30 inch to move a lot of soil to the plant row. The next machine what we are offering is the hybrid row crop cultivator called Jobster Hybrid. This section is specially designed to use in fields with a lot of organic matter on the surface or even in no-till fields. The free rotating horizontal disc works like a sweep and cuts off all the weeds. Through the rotating self-cleaning effect of the disc, the machine will never plug up. Here you see our newest machine, our precision row crop cultivator, also called Jobster Twin. With this section is an Einboeck band of minimum 5 centimeters that are approx 2 inch possible. The hoeing section is depth controlled by 2 FarmFlex wheels which are running close to the plant row. After the feeler wheels, the section is equipped with 2 vertical cutting discs which move soil away from the plant row. Angle knives are mounted behind the cutting discs which remove all the weeds. Furthermore, bypass tines can be mounted for hoeing the unworked area between the rows. The Chopster Twin is interesting for special crops like sugar beets or vegetables, but it's also interesting for farmers who have already a row crop cultivator, for example for corn or soybeans, and want to be more precise in the first and the second pass with the Chopster Twin. And for the last pass, they use their existing row crop cultivator to move as much soil as possible to the plant row. Now we come to the last option for our row crop cultivators, our ridger for the hill crops called Aerostar. On this machine we mount heaping elements to move a lot of soil to the dam. The section is equipped with S-tines in the front and afterwards are moving big concave discs soil to the hill crops. For example, we can use it in potatoes. Nevertheless, with a row crop cultivator we have always one problem. We are never working exactly in the plant row. Therefore, the finger weeders are a really good tool to remove all the weeds exactly there where the row crop cultivator is working. Furthermore, our finger weeders are designed to be as gently as possible to the main crop. The main thing is that both finger weeders which are working on one row are placed parallel and bring the same pressure from both sides to the plant row. That we see quite nicely on the right 2 pictures. And now I'm gonna show you a short movie how the finger weeders are working. Here you see quite nicely the precision hoe Chopster Twin working in the field. And here you see how the finger weeders break up the unworked band from the Chopster Twin. Through this option, the weeds also in the plant row don't have any chance to grow. Instead of the finger weeders, we can also mount rotative weeder elements, which you know already from our Aerostar rotation. The main work is like the finger weeder, to break up the unworked band from the row crop cultivator. Compared to the finger weeders, the rotative weeder elements are working more aggressive and can be used in fields with a lot of organic matter on the surface. And last but not least, our trailed weeder tines. They can be mounted at the rear of our Chopster section, and with them we pull out all the weeds from the ground so that they dry out on the surface. Depending on the row distance, we are offering different types of trailed tine weeder tines. For example, here the option for 25 centimeters 10 inch, 50 centimeters 20 inch, and the biggest version what we are offering for a 75 centimeter row distance 30 inch. And now we come to all our options to increase the accuracy of a row crop cultivator. The row guard, a camera steered sideshift frame, guides the row crop cultivator precisely through the rows, even at high speed. At least one camera is mounted on the frame of the row crop cultivator and always detects the rows, and is always controlling if the Chopster is exactly between the rows or not. If not, the sideshift frame moves the Chopster to the correct position. We always suggest support wheels directly mounted on the row guard to bring the weight from the row crop cultivator directly on the row guard for a better stability of the camera guidance system. To guarantee also a perfect work at hilly conditions, our sideshift frame has a complete offset of 50 centimeters that are 20 inch. We are offering the latest camera technology with the option to look at different colors, for example to look at green, yellow, blue or red. Complete new, our 3D mode. The camera recognizes the different height between the main crop and the weeds and is steering through this information the row crop cultivator through the fields. A further option to increase the accuracy of the row crop cultivator is the option for section control. With this system, each parallelogram and also the finger weeders are lifted by hydraulic cylinders. The big benefit of this system, the crops on the headland will not be damaged. With a lifting height of approx 35 centimeters that are close 14 inch, this system can be also used at bigger crops. To control this system, we have two options: manually with a switchboard or automatic steered by the GPS system of the tractor. Here at the movie we will see nicely how the system is working. Furthermore, we see here the option for the second camera for the row guard, which is ideal in combination with the section control. We see the left camera stops automatically working and the row guard is only steered by the right camera. The jobster sections are steered by the tractor GPS, the parallelograms and the finger weeders lift up automatically on the headland. Now I show you some examples from the practice. Please be aware that I show you suggestions how it's possible to manage the mechanical weed control. Depending on the climate and the soil conditions, the mechanical weed control can be maybe done in a different way. The mechanical weed control of grain can be splitted in general in two groups. The area seeded grain with a row distance of less than 20 centimeters, less than 8 inch, there we can only use a tinedweeder for the mechanical weed control. On the other hand, the row seeded grain with a row spacing bigger than 20 centimeters, bigger than 8 inch. This system is getting more and more interesting for our customers because also a row crop cultivator can be used for the mechanical weed control. At the area seeded grain, the tinedweeder can be used several times. The tinedweeder can be used the first time for the blind weeding pass. When the crop is already visible, we have to wait to the 3-leaf stage of the crop. Everything before would hurt the crop too much. The tinedweeder can be used up to a crop height up to 40 centimeters, approx 15 inch. On my farm at home, for example, I use the tinedweeder twice in winter wheat and winter barley. The first time in the spring, as soon as no more night frosts show up, because this would harm the crop. For the second pass, I wait approximately 1-2 weeks, depending how fast the new germinated weeds are growing. For the row seeded grain, we have the same rules for using the tinedweeder like at the area seeded grain. In general, a row crop cultivator can be used the first time at the 3-leaf stage of the crop till the crop is canopying. Quite common at winter cereals is to use the row crop cultivator as soon as no more night frosts show up in the spring. With the chopstar, I break up the heavy crust of the soil and remove all the weeds between the rows. The tinedweeder can be used then 1-2 weeks afterwards to remove all the weeds in the row. To achieve a weed-free soybean field is the use of a tinedweeder in combination with a row crop cultivator necessary. In Europe, we have a typical row distance at soybeans of 15 centimeters that are 20 inch. In the North American market, it's more common to seed them at 75 centimeters, 30 inch. Through the deep seeding depth of the soybeans is a blind weeding pass always possible and always suggested to remove already the first weeds. As soon as the plant is visible, the row crop cultivator or a rotary hoe can be used and the soybeans can be completely covered with soil. That doesn't matter for the crop. If the crop is completely covered with soil, I always suggest a gently tine weeding pass 1-2 days afterwards to remove the soil from the plant row. At the 3 to the 4 leaf stage of the crop, it's the perfect time to use a row crop cultivator in combination with the finger weeders to remove all the weeds also in the row. Then we can wait 1 or 2 weeks and then it's the perfect time again to use the tinedweeder. The final pass with the row crop cultivator, including the finger weeders, should be done shortly before blooming. Afterwards the crop should canopying and then we can wait for the harvest. Here you see an overview of the mechanical weed control in soybeans. The yellow marks show you when you can use a tinedweeder. The red ones when and how you should use a row crop cultivator. To achieve also in corn a weed-free field is also a use of a tinedweeder in combination with a row crop cultivator necessary. Like at the soybeans, through the deep seeding depth, a blind weeding pass is always possible and should be always done to remove already the first weeds. If necessary, depending on the weed growth, is a gently tine weeding pass at the 2-3 leaf stage possible. But this must be done really gently to the crop and therefore please reduce the speed down to 2-3 kilometers per hour. Starting with the 3-leaf stage, a row crop cultivator in combination with finger weeders can be used, like we see on the left picture. Depending on the weed growth, are 1 or 2 further passes with the row crop cultivator necessary till the crop is canopying. And at the last pass should be heaping elements mounted at the rear of the chopstar sections to move a lot of soil to the plant row to cover all the small weeds which are growing underneath the corn. Here's a drawing for corn similar to the one before in soybeans. Again, the yellow marks show you when you can use a tinedweeder, the red ones when and how you should use a row crop cultivator. And here you see that's our goal, nearly weed-free fields. And then we can wait for the harvest. Further details regarding an effective and successful use of tinedweeders and row crop cultivators you find at our Organic Farming Handbook. Please take a look at it, you will find it on our homepage. Here you see some examples of it. Like crop rotation, information regarding plowing and shallow plowing, and also about seed prep preparation. The main part of this handbook is about weeding and hoeing. You find a lot of information about the different crops and what machine for the mechanical weed control is suited for it. Furthermore, you find our top 10 of weeding and hoeing, as well as a lot of introductions of machine settings. Special explained crops are cereals, maize, soybeans, pumpkins, potatoes and more. On the last pages you find tests from our own testing fields. Finally, please stay healthy and I hope we will see each other again in the future. Thank you.
We We are a well-established family business with a track record of more than 80 years for uniting tradition and innovation. The manufacture of agricultural machinery and equipment is our passion. With our first mover spirit and our progressive way of thinking and acting, we cater to our customers' high demands every single day. As a team, we are striving for optimal solutions because we are researchers who continually develop innovations and perform practical tests and experiments. Farmers who try out different approaches on agricultural test plots. Designers and builders who sketch our customers' design ideas on paper and turn them into user-friendly devices. IT experts who leverage their competence to create efficient and rapidly applicable products. Welders who utilize cutting-edge equipment to deliver on customer requirements accurately and flexibly. Painters who create eco-friendly, premium quality products. Assembly workers who assemble machines of superior quality. Apprentices who approach new tasks with curiosity and enthusiasm for the job. Consultants who are inspired by agriculture and advocate sustainable management practices. Educators who share their experience and keep farmers abreast with state-of-the-art technologies. Sales reps who meet with customers to develop new ideas and offer tailor-made solutions. Logistic experts who focus on the timely delivery of our products to any place in the world. Service engineers who ensure that customers can always rely on ready-to-use machinery. Partners who assist farmers, dealers, and importers globally with technical expertise. We specialize in organic as well as conventional farming practices and are committed to our mission of being your partner of choice in professional, future-oriented, and eco-friendly land management practices, ensuring that also future generations will be able to benefit from nature's diversity. We are promoters of sustainability. We are Einböck.